The Galapagos Islands are very special because you find lots of wildlife. It's mainly inhabited by the animals, to be honest. You walk around and you see iguanas, you see tortoises, you see sea lions everywhere. And 97% of the Galapagos is national park. So only 3% is inhabited and the rest is all national park. The Galapagos Islands are located about 1,000 kilometers out of the Ecuadorian coast, mainland coast. You fly there in about 2 hours from Guayaquil, or you fly in about 2.5 hours from Quito directly. And there are 3 airports on the islands: Isabela Airport, San Cristobal, or Baltra Airport. And only Baltra and San Cristobal are airports where you can fly into from Ecuador mainland. Whenever you get to the island, there are 3 islands where you can stay. So that is Isabela, San Cristobal, and Santa Cruz. And from there you can take boats to go in between the islands. Yeah, the Galapagos Islands are huge. So it's 97% national park. There are a lot of islands where you can not stay. There are no hotels. There are no people living there. So if you would like to visit like the outer islands, the islets, the places where you see more wildlife in general, it's better to go on a cruise, because on an expedition cruise you navigate all along the archipel and you sleep on a boat. And whenever you're staying land-based, it means that you have to stay on one of the 3 main islands in hotels. And during the day you have excursions. So you can take a full day excursion, for example, to go to islands like Floriana, Pinzón, Santa Fe. Or you can take half-day excursions to go to the highlands, for example, to see the giant tortoises. Or you can go kayaking for an hour or 2, or you can go snorkeling. You can do this either organized, so with a boat and a guide and everything, or you can go by yourself to certain places. For example, Tortuga Bay, where you see a very long, beautiful white beach, together with some marine iguanas, and you can go snorkeling there by yourself. So it all depends on what you really want to see in the islands. There's so much to do, so much to see. I always recommend to do a combination between land-based and an expedition cruise, because if you stay for 3 or 4 nights on a boat, you can visit very remote islands like Genovesa or Fernandina. Those places are very special because you see some birds that you don't find anywhere else, like the flightless cormorant of Fernandina. And then you can combine it with land-based. So afterwards you stay on a couple of islands in hotels where you have a little bit more flexibility. You have time to just wander around by yourself, sit down in the village, see the Galapagos sea lions play around, and make the best out of your vacation with a combination of both excursions. On the Galapagos Islands, there are 3 main islands where you find hotels. Luckily, it's not a mass tourism destination. You don't find big hotels like Hilton's or Marriott's or huge buildings. It's still very remote. So what you find most are boutique-style hotels, from hostels until 5-star boutique luxury hotels. There are also some very special places like Galapagos Safari Camp, like Scalesia Lodge, because they are based in the highlands of the islands and you stay in glampings. So it is very adventurous, it's very nice for families. You can also stay in hotels that are beachfront. So, for example, Golden Bay in San Cristobal, or we like to work with Blue in Puerto Ayora. There's a very nice hotel. It's called Finch, 5-star hotel, like boutique hotel in Puerto Ayora. But we always do, whenever we design a vacation for a family or for a couple, for a group, to make sure that we really understand the needs of the traveler. Is the traveler looking for a lot of comfort, or is the traveler just looking for a good place to stay during the trip? Is it necessary to have a big room, or is a small room good enough? Do you really want to be first row, like next to the sea lions, or is it okay if you have to walk a block or two to get to your hotel? And the same counts for cruises. So whenever you're talking about mid-range to luxury stays, you have it in hotels, small boutique hotels, but you also have it in expedition style cruises. The Galapagos are located on the equator, which means that you can travel all year round. And since the Galapagos archipel is based on so many different islands, each island has something very special. For example, in Española you find the albatross, a certain bird. In Genovesa you find red-footed boobies, blue-footed boobies and Nazca boobies. In Fernandina you find the flightless cormorant. So each island has something very special. And it's important to know what you want to see in the Galapagos. Are you looking for marine life, or are you looking for land life, more for birds? And based on that, we always recommend a certain period to go to the Galapagos. For example, from January to March, it's usually the warmer season. So think about between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius during the day, but a little bit chillier at night. The water is not that clear during that moment. The water tends to be a bit more clearer for snorkeling in the other season, so that is June until September, June until October, because that's when the Humboldt current arrives from the South Pole. With the Humboldt current, there's a lot of marine life coming to the Galapagos. So that is when you have a high chance to see whales, you have a high chance to see sharks. So whenever you're more looking into snorkeling expeditions, it is a good time to go during June until October. If you're looking for more land life and beach style, it's good to go between January and March. But in the Galapagos Islands, each month has something very special. So, for example, if you really focused on the albatross, you should go in the month of July, I think, when they have their mating season. But you can go all year round. Whenever you're traveling to the Galapagos, you're in open ocean, because it's about 1,000 kilometers out of the Ecuadorian coast, and you do feel movement on sea. So if you tend to have problems with seasickness, it is recommended to go during the warmer season. That's when the ocean is also a bit more quiet. So you can go between December and June, for example. Whenever you arrive between June and October, it means that the sea might be a little bit more choppier. You might feel a bit more movement. So it's important to know. Layers. It's very important to bring layers. It can be so hot in the morning whenever you're doing a walk, whenever you visit wildlife, but then in the afternoon it is possible that there's a little bit of rain, the wind can come up. Whenever you're on a boat, it can also be very cold suddenly with a chilly wind. So I would always recommend to have different layers of clothing. Make sure that you have a rain jacket, not too thick, but just a nice wind/rain jacket. It's important to have sandals that you can close, so you can just walk around the volcanic stones, and to walk on the beach. And a lot of places, a lot of trails in the Galapagos are made out of big stones. So it is important to wear shoes that are not that slippery. I prefer always to have these trail running shoes because it will really help me to keep me stable during the hikes. And what else is important? Bring a very small towel. So whenever you go walking or hiking, you might want to dip into the ocean. So it's important to bring a small towel in your backpack. A lot of water. You're still on the equator and can be very warm sometimes. Some snacks is important to bring. Something to protect your head. So it can be a cappy or it can be like a sun sombrero. They're very nice sombreros made in Ecuador. Sunscreen, mosquito repellent, preferably organic ones so it doesn't harm the environment. The Galapagos Islands is a very nice example of a regulated ecotourism destination. There are, if you compare it to other destinations like Aruba or other islands in the Caribbean, the Galapagos is very different because 97% is national park. So whenever you're traveling to the Galapagos, you're actually helping to the conservation of these islands. Whenever you get to the Galapagos, you have to pay $200 entrance fee per person, per adult. And this goes to the conservation fund of the Galapagos National Park to make sure that the trails are maintained, to make sure that there is enough research into the species, the endemic species, to help to protect the environment. Whenever you fly to Galapagos, there are some steps involved. So first you get to the airport, Quito, Guayaquil, and you have to buy the Ingala card, which is kind of a transit card. So you have to hand over your passport and your tickets to make sure that you're not staying longer than 60 days on the islands. This costs $20 per person. Then you have a second step before you can do the check-in with the airline, and that is going to the Sigal, and that is where they check your luggage. You cannot bring any fruits, vegetables, seeds into the Galapagos because it's a very precious ecosystem, and yeah, they're protecting it very, very well. So then after the luggage check, they zip your suitcase to make sure that nothing else enters, and then you can go to check-in. Whenever you proceed to check-in, you do the all steps of a normal flight, and then right before arriving to the Galapagos Islands, they spray with a certain chemical spray with some type of chemical stuff. So they kill all bacteria, all types of living small bacteria before you get to the islands. And then upon arrival in the Galapagos, there's another check of your hand luggage to make sure that you're not bringing fruits, vegetables, and other stuff into the islands. I think that is very important to maintain the Galapagos safe for the flora and fauna. Because we do see in history that there were goats on the islands, there were rats on the islands, and that really damaged the local species. The most important things whenever you're going to the islands is that you keep your distance from the animals. You might see iguanas, tortugas, sea lions, whenever you're just walking. But you always have to maintain 2 meters of distance from these animals to protect them. And it is important to work with a local tour operator because we know where to go, we know where to keep you safe, we know how to take most out of your Galapagos experience. It's not just a regular destination, it's not just Aruba. It is really special, and every single island has something different to offer. That is why it's very important to have a personal connection with all of our travelers. It's a once-in-a-lifetime destination to go to the Galapagos. It is expensive, it is very special. So we always have a one-on-one meeting before we take our travelers to the Galapagos. This can be via Zoom, via telephone. And then based on that, we know what the traveler really wants to take out of these 4, 5, 8, maybe 2 weeks in the Galapagos Islands. So we can design the perfect trip, focus on the animals that our travelers want to see, focus on activities that they really want to pursue, and to find the nice hotels, the boutique hotels, the eco lodges that our travelers want to stay in.